In this video, I'm going to have a chat with Phil, the owner of this green Morris Minor that we're currently converting to electric. We're going to find out why he's decided to go from leaded to lithium, what it was like living with this car as a petrol car last summer whilst he drove it around, and he's also going to tell you all about what he thinks is the most essential maintenance task for any Morris Minor owner, be they lithium or leaded. He'll tell you all about that at the end of the video, so stick around to find out. Hi Phil, just want to have a quick chat with you about why you've decided to convert your petrol Morris Minor to electric with us. I've got quite a few questions, so I've got them written down and let's just go through them if you don't mind. So, when we started looking for a Morris Minor together, what specific must-haves were on your list?
Well, I was looking for a two-door saloon, so something which is kind of pretty common, really. So I did look at Travelers, but then I just prefer the jelly mold shape of the two-door saloon, so we went for a two-door saloon.
We looked at a few options during the search. What was it about this particular car that made you say, this is the one?
We kind of been looking around, and I just really like the almond green look. So some people confuse it for British racing green, but no, it's almond green. I just like that particular colour. To tell you the truth, it was colour, which sounds a bit lame, but it's either this one or it was going to be the maroon, which is also a nice colour. And also it's mechanical condition as well. So obviously didn't want to do too much work mechanically. There were some issues that have been fixed and restored, but generally it's quite a solid car.
We sorted out the initial mechanical issues for you before you used it. How was that period of driving it last summer in its original form?
Yeah, so because the workshop was busy doing conversions, I basically got the car in its standard form in terms of being a petrol driven and drove it around for the summer. And then when the weather started turning bad, we then brought it in the workshop for the conversion. So basically it got MOT ready and then I could enjoy it for the summer and then brought it in to get converted. How
helpful was it having a technical team involved during the purchase to ensure the chassis was actually fit for an EV conversion?
Well, it was very useful because I needed some help with doing that. So I know enough about cars because I'm of a certain age, and you used to have to be able to know a bit about cars. No, modern cars, the computer says no, but when I was a kid, I knew which bits to hit to make it work. But when you're buying a car for a conversion, you do need professional help.
A lot of people buy these classics to keep them original. What made you want to take a Morris Minor and completely modernise the drivetrain?
So I was looking at a number of different cars. So I started off looking at, I've been thinking about this project for about 3 or 4 years. So I started looking at doing a lot of YouTubing, looked at things like Volkswagen Bugs or Citroën 2CVs. And then I thought, well, let's look at just a classic British car. And there's a lot of Morris Minors around. And a lot of people do a lot of interesting things with Morris Minors. So put bigger engines in, change the suspension layout. So people are converting Morris Minors all the time. So, and there are a lot of them. So you're not hacking into something which is a rare classic. There are many Morris Minors on the road. So there are many Morris Minors that can be kept in their original condition, and this is a good platform doing change. There's a lot of experience out there about how to fix things, how to change things. If this was a Morris Million, for example, of which only 350 were made, I wouldn't dare to touch that because that is like historic, but there are a lot of Almond Green 1969 Morris Minor 1000s on the road. So it's not too sacrilegious to convert this.
Now that the car's here in the workshop, how does it feel seeing the project come to life compared to the initial plan in your mind?
Yeah, so I just had a Gantt chart, which but now actually seeing the change is quite interesting as well. And all the images you get through every week on the conversion happening as it happens is really, you know, you kind of get yourself involved in the whole process. It's really good.
Could you explain to our viewers how the process works from your side, how we keep in touch and how you stay up to date with the build?
So I get maybe a couple of updates a week showing progress on the car. So some of them are videos, a lot of them are just pictures. Questions get asked in that, and then I respond, or I ask questions, and then it's pretty responsive within a couple of hours of people coming back to you saying, yeah, well, we can do this, we can do that. So yeah, I spent a lot of time at the beginning of the process kind of getting a lot of the requirements sorted, but as we've gone along, there's been the odd tweak. But so I'd recommend having a good long discussion at the beginning, and then, but yeah, we are still moving things around and making changes as we go along.
Here at Kinghorn EV, we love electric vehicles, whether it's helping you find the perfect used EV to get you started or replace your current one, or fully bespoke electric conversions like this Morris Minor, to restoring your classic prior to converting it to electric, just like Phil's here. We also repair EVs, 2 and 4 wheel. We live and breathe electric vehicles, and our website's linked in the description. What has been the most surprising thing you've learned about the Morris Minor since you picked this one up?
I've done a lot of research, greasing matronians. So that's one thing I'm going to have to get good at doing. So
That's not a double entendre.
it is. It sounds really it sounds slightly dodgy, but yeah, greasing your trunnions every 3 months. I got to keep my suspension up because it is a very old-fashioned suspension.
You've mentioned before that the circular economy side of this was a big draw for you. Can you tell us more about why using recycled parts mattered to you?
Yeah. So this actually, if you look in there, that's actually a Nissan Leaf motor. So this is a second-hand car. Well, actually probably fourth or fifth hand car that has been repaired over the years. It actually went to a famous Morris Minor specialist in Bath called Charles Ware, where it had an extensive restoration. So this isn't the first time it's been restored. And in there is a Nissan Leaf motor from a crash-damaged Nissan Leaf. So it's about using stuff that isn't brand new and recycling it and joining it together to make something which is new and then can last maybe another 20 or 30 years. As we go through the energy transition.
What would you say to the purists who think we should have kept the original A-Series engine in the car?
I enjoy driving an A-Series engine. I enjoy the little fart. I didn't like it when occasionally I lost a cylinder and was driving on 3 cylinders and had to stop by the side of the road. So I think electric conversion will make it a lot more reliable. But again, there are a lot of Morris Minors on the road, and a lot of them are not carrying the original A-Series engine. They've got maybe a 1275 engine. I saw one yesterday with a 1.9 litre Fiat diesel in it on eBay. So this is a platform for doing lots of changes, and there are lots of original Morris Minors out there. So it's not sacrilegious to do this to a Morris Minor. In fact, I think the creator of the Morris Minor, Alec Issigonis, when I got a friend of mine who said Alec Issigonis would be turning in his grave that you put an electric motor in, I found a Pathé newsreel showing a Mini from the early 1960s that they were running with electric motor. So he was looking at putting electric motors in cars.
Since you've already driven it as a petrol car, what do you think the biggest difference is going to be once it's fully electric?
I think performance. It's still going to have a lot of the original drivetrain, so I'm not going to be able to like rag it around, and the suspension isn't going to be changed significantly. So George is going to detune the control motor, the control system, so we don't put all the power and torque through the transmission, because it will just break it. I think it'll just be slightly better performing, and also slightly less of a worry about 60-year-old mechanicals failing. So I think it's going to be a lot more reliable, and it's just going to be just generally fun. I think just driving something that people think is a Morris Minor and they don't expect it to perform, and then actually it will. So that'll be quite fun.
And finally, what would you say to anyone else out there who's currently considering an EV conversion for their own classic?
Somebody who knew what they were talking about and had lots of experience of maybe doing many different cars and not just a single one. And yeah, so I think you do your research. It's actually quite a lot of fun. I enjoyed looking at all the different conversion companies because everybody's out there on YouTube basically showing their process. And also this was also local to me, but I know that these guys will do a conversion anywhere in the country, from anywhere in the country in their Durham workshop. But yeah, this area has a great history in innovative engineering. So I'm feeling pretty confident that we'll get a good result.
Here at Kinghorn EV, we love electric vehicles, whether it's helping you find the perfect used EV to get you started or replace your current one, or fully bespoke electric conversions like this Morris Minor, to restoring your classic prior to converting it to electric, just like Phil's here. We also repair EVs, 2 and 4 wheel. We live and breathe electric vehicles, and our website's linked in the description.